So this whole outbreak has basically put a pause on loads of physical activities that people usually do on a daily basis. I mean, people are now hardly even able to keep up with their regular physical routine. We see where people are now becoming more aware of how important it is to keep themselves in good physical health, in good physical condition. We see where youngsters nowadays are even now developing certain lifestyle disease that we usually only associate with older people back in the days. So people are now seeing how important it is to make sure that they are physically active, that they are always doing some form of physical activity. So this whole pandemic is now affecting people from all different angles. And with this thing rapidly spreading across the country, we see where we're having a lot of closure of different places. And as it relates to the whole physical environment, we see where we have sporting facilities being closed down. We have gyms, we have the dance studios, we have cycling tracks. And all these are places that people usually go to get some form of physical activity, get some amount of physical workout. And these places are, even if they are not closed down totally, they are accepting people in smaller groups or probably individual. You have to work as an individual. And I mean, those who are familiar with working with in a gym, you know that majority of the time you go to the gym, you want to have a partner to work with to help motivate you while you are doing trying to complete a set. And we do understand the importance of the whole social distancing and being able to stay in your own personal space during a time like this. But just exploring how this thing has really affected our lifestyle. So we still see where a lot of people are still doing their jogging in the mornings, doing a little bit of jogging after work, and this is very good because you don't necessarily have to go to the gym or go to the dance studios in order to get a workout, but it is usually good to work in groups as it relates to sports. But at the end of the day, we just have to work with what is happening now. And boy, we just have to hope and pray that we get over this thing as soon as possible. And when if we look at it from a different point of view, these same sporting facilities are these same sporting place, they are hardly able to bring in any revenue. And the people that operate these sporting facilities, uh, some of them, this is their only way of getting an income. And for majority of these places to be on lockdown now, you know that things are becoming much harder for these people. So yeah, man, this whole outbreak thing, it has basically affected our lives in many different ways. But as I go throughout this video, I just want to tie in this thing with sports and how I think it is affecting sports on a whole, sports in school. And I also want to take a look at some of the important things that we need to do in order to make sure that we are keeping ourselves in good physical health, even though we are at home. There are different type of activities that we can do to make sure that we prevent certain lifestyle disease. So we're gonna take a look at some of these things down in the video. Yeah, man. So first and foremost, I want to take a look at how much of an impact this whole outbreak is having or might have on the whole sports in school system. And as it relates to sports in school, especially at the high school level, we know that the biggest governing body for high school sports is ISA, and they are usually in charge of organizing different high school competitions. So we're talking about our champs, our Manning Cup, DaCosta Cup, our football. Now this is the governing body that usually puts together everything as it relates to high school sports. Now, I am most definitely certain that ISA, the personals at ISA, they are probably scratching their heads as we speak right now, because they would have lost out on Boys and Girls Champs 2020, and Boys and Girls Champs is what brings in majority of the money into ISA, and based on how it is looking now, they might also miss out on the 2020 football season as it relates to Manning Cup and Doncaster Cup. Now, these are the two main money pumpers for ISA. They bring in a lot of money from Boys and Girls Champs. They bring in a lot of money from Manning Cup and Doncaster Cup. And for those who are not closely associated with this whole sports thing in school, the, why ISA is scratching their head right now is the fact that they would have lost out on millions of dollars from champs, and if they are not able to bring in some revenues from football, then it is going to be very sticky going down into the new year, January, February of next year, because we're talking about this is the same money that usually trickle over to help with the netball, the football, not the football, the netball, the basketball, the badminton, all of those sports. They bring in a lot of money from football and netball, so they would be able to trickle over some of the money to the sports that are not so widely supported. I mean, if you have ever been to the National Stadium to watch a Manning Cup semi-finals or finals, then you would understand the type of money that we're talking about. Same thing as it relates to, well, even more as it relates to track and field. If you ever go to Boys and Girls Champs, especially in the last 2 days, then you would understand why ISA might be scratching their head as we speak. And I don't want it to sound as if I am just looking at it from a money point of view, but I just wanted to cover the body itself that is in charge of sports in school, because I know that this whole outbreak is affecting the entire country. But here on Sports in the Bone, I like to tie in whatever is going on to sports, or I like to make the link or the connection. Now, seeing that we have looked at how ISA probably is scratching their head right now, I am going to look at it from a different level now. We're talking about sports is what majority of this time, a lot of these youngsters, sports is what usually get them into some of the best colleges and universities in Jamaica and overseas. A lot of them would have participated and would have performed extremely well. Boys and girls champs and at the netball competitions and at the Manning Cup and Doncaster Cup level, and these performances would have allowed them to get scholarships to go overseas and to study. So we are really feeling it for these youngsters, because a lot of them would have invested a lot of time into their training, and especially the ones that are in grade fifth form, sixth form, that would have been expecting to move on to college and to university. We are hoping that things will eventually work out for them. But yeah, man, we are really hoping that this thing will take a break very soon, because this is what get a lot of the youths, especially the ones in the inner city. This is what gets a lot of them into some of the best universities all over the world. Yeah, man. So we are hoping for the best, and I mean, it is the same sports that keep a lot of these youngsters occupied. A lot of them, usually when school is over, they would be able to go to training, whether it be football, netball, track and field, basketball. They would have some form of engagement. So they don't just leave from school and go home and roam in the communities. Um, some of these youngsters, after school finish and they go to training, they only have time to go home and to bathe and do the homework and head straight to bed. So it really keep a lot of them occupied. So you know this is impacting us in many different ways, man. So we are just hoping that everything will return to normal pretty soon. Or I mean, people are saying this is the new norm, so we're probably just gonna have to learn how to live with it for the time being. But I am just hoping that these youngsters that would have invested so much of their time into training, I am hoping that they don't become demotivated. I am hoping that they will be able to hold on and to cling to their future, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. A lot of these youngsters won't be able to wear jacket and tie and sit in office. It is their skill, their foot, their hand, whatever sport it is, that is going to lift a lot of them out of poverty and put them in a comfortable situation. So at the end of the day, we have to look at it from different angles. Yeah, man. So if it's in for the youngsters, we are hoping that things will return to normal as soon as possible. Yeah, man. Cause and as I was saying much earlier up in the video, even though we are at home, we need to find some sort of way of getting ourselves into physical engagement. We need to make sure that we are doing some form of physical activity, if it's even for 30 minutes a day, because we don't want at the end of the day, when this whole outbreak finish and gone, we still can't move around because we are in a state that we are not physically capable. So we want to make sure that we are keeping ourselves in a good physical condition. And I mean, you would be frightened to know the little exercise that you might be doing. You would be frightened to know what it is preventing you from developing. So even if you're not able to go to the gym, you're not able to go to the park, it is always good to know some form of plyometrics, using your own body weight to do exercise. We're talking about push-ups, we're talking about pull-ups, we're talking about your jumping jacks, your skipping. All of those are little exercises that they do way more than you would expect. These are things that help to regularize the heart rate. You know. And at the end of the day, loads of people have stayed home and have put on a lot of weight. So it is good to make sure that you are physically active, and there are loads of benefits to it. I mean, one of the main reasons why people exercise is to manage their weight, because a lot of people are now working from home, so we are closer to the kitchen, we are close to the fridge. So every now and again we might grab a snack, but it is very important for us to work out to manage our weight. We're talking about exercising in order to reduce high blood pressure, which they call the silent thing that take you out in an instant. And the same high blood pressure lead to stroke, heart attack. So it's important for us to do the simple things. You have staircase in a home. You just run up and down a couple times per day. Those are some little exercise that will go a far way. you know we're talking about these little exercise improving your muscle mass and your bone density. So you're not only exercising to feel good, but you're exercising to develop develop some muscles. So you actually look good and feel good. So yeah, man, these little exercises, they go a far way. We're talking about making sure that you're stretching your bodies, stretching your muscles, making sure that you're keeping up your flexibility. Yeah, man, when quarantine finish and it's time for you to go out and play some cricket or some football, you can't move because you're not flexible anymore. You want to make sure that you're able to move around at least. Talking about staying at home and putting in the work in order to reduce the risk of any form of heart attack. Because we are at home eating up the whole heap of food, so we don't want to block up our arteries for develop any form of heart attack and all of them things. So, you know, with in the middle in the they say in the midst of life there is death, but here in the midst of this pandemic there is workout. So we just want to make sure that we're keeping ourselves physically active. So at the end of the day, we know so we're ready for touch the ball field again. Yeah, man, and this them simply could work out or help to reduce the risk of becoming depressed. Yeah, man, a lot of people go in a depression because of different things, and this whole pandemic thing that is going on, it is mentally and physically draining. So you want to do some form of physical activity, man, to free the mind. Make sure that you're not in a depressed stage, in a depressed mood. Yeah, so while we're waiting on this thing to go away, let us just make sure that we are keeping ourselves in good shape, keeping ourselves in good condition. Because at the end of the day, the gym soon open back, the bar ground soon open, the netball court, everything soon open up. But we just have to go and work with it for now and make sure that we are protecting the youngsters. Yeah, man. Make sure we're watching the children, parents that are at home that you know your child love a particular sport, you try and let the child watch some of the thing on YouTube, try to do their own physical training at home, make sure that when everything open up again, we up and running. Yeah, man, so that is it for this video, just talking about some of the impact of this whole thing that is going on, and how it might affect certain things in the country, and what we need to do to keep ourselves in good physical condition throughout this. Sports the bone, keeping you informed. Please remember to like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And remember to share the video with people, send it around so we can grow the channel. I'm out. I'm out.